Some of you guys might be like, who the fuck is this guy? If you guys are clicking on this for the first time, wondering how can he answer any questions about State of Decay 3. I have been play testing State of Decay 3 with Undead Labs as part of the player council for the better part of a year now. So obviously with that, whatever's within my ability to answer, which is not a whole lot of questions, but I might be able to quell some concerns you might be able to have. You know, if there's a feature or something like that you might be concerned. Because oh Jesus, look at this. Oh no. I was just trying to open the gate. All right. So what I'm gonna do now is we're gonna do just a little bit of Q&A. Just kind of chit chat a little bit. Even though we kind of been chit chatting this whole time. We're gonna take a little time. I'm gonna try to answer some of you guys' questions, maybe address some of the concerns some of you guys might have. Obviously, I can't get into detail about anything really, but I could at least, you know, maybe quell some concerns or answer some pretty broad questions, I guess you could say. But I wanted to kind of go over some of the questions you guys asked in. First person. We had Fat Billy from Philly. That is a crazy name. Says, what's crazy is we are at least 1 year out from release, if not 2 more years. Don't know why they letting anything out this far in advance. So, as you guys know, the game's in alpha. Now, alpha means a lot for different things for different people. Like, there's games that are in alpha for 10 years. There's games that are in alpha for 3 months. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of different stages of development, what some studios consider alpha, when they swap to beta and things like that. So in the interview, Philip already discussed that, you know, we're in alpha right now and that they plan on moving into beta tests later on in the year. So with that being said, I don't know when State of Decay 3 is coming out. Nobody does. That's not information they give us because it's not information we need to test the game. But with everything, I don't see State of Decay not coming out in 2027. But again, I wouldn't look at it like, oh man, because I've seen a lot of comments that we're going to be going over here. A lot of people like, oh, how is the game only in alpha? How is the game only in alpha? This is crazy. It's been 6 years. And I tried to tell you guys without telling you guys. Philip said it. So if you guys watched the interview, Philip said it very clear that when that trailer released, the very first trailer, and I tried, and if you guys have been around on the streams for a while, you know that I've tried to say this in so many different ways without saying it. But when that trailer released, there was only 4 people brainstorming on the game. The game didn't exist. Everything that was State of Decay when that trailer came out was all on a Word document. That was it. So they have not been working on State of Decay 3 for 6 years, like people think. I've tried to tell people, like, think back. State of Decay 2 was still very much being worked on. We had Homecoming, we had Plague Territory, we had freaking the Heartland update. Like, we had all of these huge updates that were, Juggernaut Edition with the Providence Ridge map. They were making maps and stuff. All of that stuff was still being done, which was pretty much all hands on deck, right? At the time. And a lot of people thought that, oh, no, they released that trailer. They're working on the game. And I'm like, they really weren't. Now, some people are like, well, why would they release a trailer then? All it was an announcement trailer. It was, games do that all the time. They announce just to because before that trailer came out, we didn't even know there was going to be a State of Decay 3. Like, there was nothing. There was nothing that even pointed that State of Decay 3 would have been a thing. So I would say that trailer coming out was more of like a Microsoft type of deal. They were trying to flex their upcoming games because that's what, they do. So I would say that was kind of them just saying, hey, look at Xbox. We're working on this game. And that's all it was just saying, hey guys, State of Decay 3 is going to be a thing. Obviously people take that and then they run away with it. And then it's just like, headcanon starts forming and people lose their fucking minds. And instead of just taking it as, oh, that was just an announcement trailer, they start developing their own headcanon and it's a lost cause at that point. But yeah, so people seeing that trailer and didn't take all the context clues of what was going on around them, you know, with the development of State of Decay 2 and how invested developers were still in that game. And they just drew conclusions that State of Decay 3 has been being worked. I've seen dumbasses, and I'm gonna say it, I've seen people literally arguing with me that State of Decay 3 has been in development since 2018. I said, excuse me, bro. And I asked, I said, what year did State of Decay 2 come out? And then they didn't have nothing else to say, because they knew I was about to, oh, how you gonna say the game is under development since 2018? Bitch, State of Decay 2 came out in 2018 and it was not even a finished game. They had to rush it out the door to make cutoff, bro. State of Decay 2 was underdeveloped, and you telling me somewhere in that they had they had time to make the third game? Bro, shut the go on, dude. Stop. But yeah, it's crazy out here. So J-Ring, thank you for the super chat, man. This is a gaming industry issue as a whole, releasing fake trailers, vertical slices of games that don't exist yet. Yeah, and I mean, we haven't really seen too much of that. I feel like lately, at least, we do get a trailer here and there. But I feel like back 2018, 2019, 2020, like where it was really bad. I feel like it was really, really bad. But I feel like we haven't seen too much of that same behavior recently. Have they talked about what engine they're designing? It's Unreal 5. As for like what version of 5, I don't fucking know, dude. Game's beautiful. Yeah, if that means anything. It's very pretty. It's a very pretty game. Do I have an idea of how many would be selected for the first round of testers? I do not know at all. Like I said, I am just the tester myself. As for how many people they're choosing, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be probably be a decent amount of people. Do I think it's going to be like tens of thousands? Probably not. But as for how many, I don't know exactly. So somebody said the one thing I always felt was missing was the point of the bases other than some buffs and a big storage container. I'm hoping the plague coming for you and some better perks to having certain bases and maybe some little side activities at the bases like cooking, crafting, etc. will add to that. So I see what the person's saying, but I kind of feel like they're a little because they're saying that to them State of Decay bases are just some buffs and big storage containers. I would argue with that person and say that the State of Decay bases are already quite unique compared to other games, which are literally just storage containers in games like DayZ. A lot of like all you do is craft and then so I would say that the bases, you can already do little side activities like cooking and crafting at the bases and already in State of Decay 2. Because like if you were to point out, what would you consider jank that exists in State of Decay 2? Do they ask about certain aspects or concerns while testing, or do you provide feedback while playing the game? So generally how it works is like they'll kind of like explain things. They'll tell us about like what's changed in the builds, and then they kind of just if they have specific things that they worked on in the build, they'll kind of be like, hey, focus on like these things because these are new. We want you guys to like test these new things out. So then that's kind of what you do. They'll have like things for you to focus on. And like for the playtest coming up, it's probably going to be the same way. They'll probably be like, hey, in this playtest, like the main thing we guys want you to focus on is like this, and this. So then you kind of like focus on like this, and this. Other times it's kind of just like free-formed or like, hey, just play the game and, just tell us kind of how it feels overall. And then you just play the game. And then you kind of just give your overall feedback. So it kind of differs from test to test, really depending on what the devs are looking for in that moment, like what feedback, because sometimes they will want specific feedback and they'll ask for that specific feedback. They'll say, hey, go and test this and let us know what you think about it. And that's why I keep telling you guys, like game testing, like if you guys are trying to get into this alpha, like please come into this ready to work and not just looking at this as an opportunity to play State of Decay 3 early, because you will be you're going to kind of take that slot away from somebody who is willing to actually make the game better. That's my one ask to you guys. Like, if you are going to come into the game, make sure you're here to work, give good feedback, and test the game. Can you compare the map size based on other? So I cannot disclose any information on the maps or map. I can't talk about it. I can't talk about whether there's going to be multiple maps or one map. I cannot disclose that information. I like how State of Decay 3 is coming out. I can say that. I do like what they have. It definitely feels pretty cool. It's definitely an upgrade in a lot of ways. I think it feels really good. A lot of the aspects of the game feel very good, because I see people talking about like locomotion versus State of Decay 2, like how the character moves and things like that. If you kind of look in the trailer they released, you get like little snippets of like the characters moving around. I think there's even one point. Let me see if I can get that up for you guys. All right. So, but yeah, during the announcement they did here, you can kind of see it a little bit. Now, obviously, I can't talk about it exactly, but I do enjoy. That was one of the first things I noticed when I first started testing the game, was the difference between like how the character like moved. It was one of the first things that caught my eye. When I first started, was just kind of the locomotion and like how everything felt. It was really, really cool. I know there's like, they didn't show a whole lot of gameplay, and for good reason. A lot of people, and that was another thing I've seen a lot of people talking about in the comments, where people are like, oh, no gameplay. Why are they just talking? There's no gameplay. Because what they have currently is it's not in a state that they want to show you guys full blown gameplay yet. There will be a point where there will be, but again, just the little bit of gameplay they did show, people were already ripping it apart. Not understanding that some things are placeholder. It's still early alpha. A lot of the stuff's like literally in a test build of the game, and people are already ripping it apart. And it's just like, you are the exact reason. Like, I don't want to be an asshole, but I'm like, you're the reason why they are not showing anything. Like, you right now are the reason why they're not showing anything, because they show a little bit and then people rip it apart. They start talking shit. And I'm like, bro, it's early alpha. Like, it's alpha footage. Like, it's not going to be what you see when the game releases, but people, they don't get it. You know what I mean? Their brains just don't fucking comprehend. And then it's like, you are the reason why, they're not showing anything. So because of that, now we got to wait until the game is in a state to where they feel comfortable showing it. Okay. So like here, people are like, oh, the health bar. And it's like, okay, like, you guys don't know what placeholder means. I get it. But, because people were talking about like the health bars down here, like, like, oh, what the hell are those health bars? Like that shit looks so bad. And it's like, come on, guys. So somebody says here, I can't wait for State of Decay 3, but I really hope the multiplayer is like grounded, where your friend can download the world as well and play on it while you're not on as well. That's what I'm really hoping for, that they bring over from what the game, but otherwise I'm excited for this. So the shared world experience, guys, Philip said it himself. It is a very cool situation. I've played on the multiplayer myself, and you guys know I'm not a huge multiplayer guy. Me and Jay played together, which is it's crazy, because you got to think Jay's in the UK, man, and I'm in New York, and we were able to play together, and it was awesome. It was actually really, really fun. Me and him had already creating our own little stories. You know what I mean? Kind of going on. It was a good time. But yeah, so that is the whole point of the shared world experience. Even Philip said, is when you make a world, you invite your friend to play in your world. And that's why Philip said you got to be careful who you invite, because the amount of agency that person you invite gets is it's pretty dramatic, guys. Like you share the save. It's a shared world, and yeah, it's very, very interconnected. If you've played Grounded, you'll understand exactly like how it works. But yeah, it's where State of Decay 2, it's like if I wasn't online, you couldn't even come to my world. But no, it's very, very shared experience. It's really, really cool. Somebody says, please have facial hair. Facial hair would be dope. Beards for the win, 100%. So somebody asked another question here. Actually, let me see. Do they plan on expanding the multiplayer size? I think they said up to 4, but that's a pretty small number. So I don't think they're going for like DayZ level, 36 player servers or anything like that. It's more just taking what State of Decay 2 multiplayer could have been and like expanding on it. So as for it being like more than the 4 player, I don't think that would suit State of Decay, because like how would that work? You know what I mean? Like I don't even see like 4 player co-op in a game like State of Decay with people sharing that is already kind of a lot in my opinion. Imagine playing Grounded but having like 20 people. Like it would be quite a lot. At that point, now they're shifting to more of like server base, like a DayZ or Scum or Ark. Like, you know what I mean? And State of Decay doesn't facilitate that type of, it's not that kind of game, it's more of a co-op experience, not a massive multiplayer experience. But somebody asked here, could you answer if the morale system in solo has been overhauled and deepened similar to State of Decay 1? I missed the random events from fear, anger, or despair. Also, the good UI back that looks like a diary, best UI ever. So as for the morale system being overhauled, deepened, similar to State of Decay 1, I can't give details on that at all, actually. But what I can say is I do not miss the random events from fear, anger, or despair from State of Decay 1, dude. That shit was annoying, bro. Like, oh, every time you go back to, and then it was so repetitive, because it was just like Maya always got angry. So a couple in-game days, I'd have to bring her out, kill a couple zombies, and bring it back. Like, it wasn't that great. But what I can say is I would hope that they had some kind of system like that, but it was done better. I think the characters I think everything feels pretty great so far from what I've experienced, Richard, in the game. I feel like everything feels really good. Okay, so this person brought up a good thing that Philip said in the interview. He says, was it just me, but they mentioned enclaves 2 times. And Philip said choosing one removes the possibility of others, so kind of like Fallout factions. Yeah, what he's kind of getting at is like they're really trying to hone in on playthroughs feeling unique. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things. Yeah, it's like, if you side with this group and this group, next playthrough you can try to side with this group and this group. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you might make some choices in your playthrough that lock you into a certain thing, or lock you into a super group, or lock you out from working with a certain group. You know what I mean? Like that's and that's a very good system, because yeah, you see that a lot with like Fallout and things like that. It's like, yeah, if you side with this faction, you're not gonna be able to side with this faction. So it creates, again, that replayability that we all love in this franchise. And yeah, I think that's kind of what he was getting at there, is like, yeah, if you make a choice, you might be stuck with that choice for the rest of this playthrough, and then you're gonna have to, if you want to see what's on the other side of the fence, you're probably gonna have to start another community, which I think everybody's fine with. I don't think, you might get some people that whine and complain like, oh, so you're telling me I can't just do everything in one playthrough? It's just like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, State of Decay 3 will be day 1 Game Pass game. Yeah, that's at least that's what I recall them saying. I'm pretty sure all Xbox titles are. But will there be larger urban areas in the game? Obviously I can't talk on any map details. I would say that if you guys look at the images and kind of the area that the game that we've seen so far, it definitely has a certain type of aesthetic. A lot of people were also asking if State of Decay 3 was coming to PS5. I don't know. I think that would be an awesome if it did. I feel like I honestly feel like if State of Decay went to PS5, man, it's going to be a huge game. Just on PlayStation alone, it's going to be a huge game because there's no games like it. I feel like that market, that zombie survival market on the PlayStation is so like what games does PlayStation even have, bro? Like they don't got nothing. They got Days Gone and that's it. But I do feel like if State of Decay went to PlayStation, it would be a huge dub, dude. Oh my God. They probably sell fucking multiple millions of copies just on PlayStation alone. I guarantee, dude, it'd be wild. And then if they did have some kind of like cross-play between them, that'd be wild, bro. That'd be real wild. Does the game take place in Washington again? I think they said that the game is still in like the Pacific Northwest. I don't know if they label it as Washington though specifically. I don't know if like the canon for State of Decay has ever said Washington. The devs have always just said Pacific Northwest. That's how they've always labeled it. I mean, I imagine it right now, dude. Could you imagine like freaking State of Decay 3 on PS5 Pro, 60 FPS, 4K, 120 hertz? Like that should be beautiful, dude. It would look good. That definitely look good, man. So somebody said this was. I've actually seen a few people ask about this, guys. Somebody said armor. Is there armor? I know you can't talk about everything, but armor was something I really missed in State of Decay 2. Nothing crazy, but something that could protect you and your survivor a short time, at least when attacked. I'm not sure even if the armor cars in State of Decay made a difference besides looking cool. So in State of Decay 2, when you upgraded your vehicles, they did get a bigger health pool. Yes. So the armor on vehicles did increase the health of the vehicle. As for armor on survivors, they've never done that before. I don't think in any of the franchise. Like State of Decay 1 didn't have armor. And yeah, State of Decay 2 didn't either. So I think he's saying like, if I put a helmet on my character, like the helmet's gonna make my survivor a bit more resilient. I think that's what he's kind of referring to as for an armor system. I don't know. That's actually something I've never thought about, like at all. Zybot with the 20. Thank you so much. Looking forward to that State of Decay 3 content, my man. Finally got some great news from you all. Yeah, the thing is I've been playing State of Decay 3 now for a year, and I've wanted so badly to just talk with you guys about it like this. You know, just kind of like let you guys know that I am playing it and I'm enjoying it, and you know things are coming at work. I think everything is like really, really shaping up really awesome. And like I personally can't wait for you guys to like experience some of this stuff. Like that's what I'm most excited for. Like yeah, I'm excited. I've been playing it myself, but it's like I know so many of you guys are going to be so happy and so excited when you finally do get to jump in. That's what I'm excited for, really. So this was a comment that I seen, and I kind of wanted to address this. They were saying, I'm not trying to be a jerk to the development team. I love the franchise, but everyone on the player council are walking around with kid gloves and can't be respectful, critical. What's the point? I kind of got what he was trying to say there, and all I wanted to say was this person is very, very wrong. And like you can't just take what one person said in one interview and try to apply that to like the player council. So this whole process, guys, I love Undead Labs, right? I love the dev team. I'm a very respectful person, as you guys know, but when it comes to this job that I've been given for the player council to give feedback, there's no kid gloves. I have been very critical. Every update I've tested, I have had an essay of shit I did not like. Some things I'm like, you need to change this, bro. This doesn't feel good, or this like I've had a list of things every time. I've been probably one of the most critical people when it comes to this, because I love the team. I love this game and I want to see it do well. And I feel I'm very in tune with the community and how the community feels about this game and certain aspects of it. So I am very vocal. And it's not for myself personally. It's because I know, like, okay, if you release it like this, man, I can already, because I know there's a lot of people out there that share the same mindset as I do. There's going to be a lot of backlash when, you know, this comes out, or if this is not changed, or if this is not fixed or something like that. So I have been very critical, and not just me, like Fall Down, Go Boom. Like there's a lot of people on this player council, like Sonny's been very, very critical. Trust me, very critical. Jay has been critical. Like all of these guys that are in the player council, if you guys seen the essays that these guys type up, man, that shit will blow your, like, all of these guys take this shit very serious. Nobody's pulling no punches. If we don't like something, we're not like, hey, you know, excuse me, Patrick, but like, do you think, you know, maybe you could? No, we're just like, bro, we don't like it. We don't like it. Like, I don't like it. I think you should change it. Or I love this. I think this is amazing. And Undead Labs doesn't want us to sit here and just tell them all the good things. Like that's not what they have us here for. If that was the case, they would have just been like, bro, like we could do that ourselves. They didn't bring us on to have somebody just yes-sir them and kiss their ass and tell them how amazing they are. That's not what Undead Labs is not. They don't give a shit about that. They want criticism. They want feedback because they want to make sure that this game is good. More important, like more than we want the game to, trust me, if there's anybody that wants this game to be good, it's them. So that's why they brought us on. They wanted us on so we could give them good feedback. Because if we weren't, yeah, they'd be like, bro, what the hell's the point of this? Like, you're just telling us what we want to hear. No, sometimes, hey, I know we've had sessions where they've worked on something and we've kind of looked at them and I've given like my thoughts on it. And I'm like, hey, you know, this is how I felt about this. And like Patrick will sit there and he'll be like, okay, well, shit, I guess I'll bring this back to the team. You know, and there's times where we've said stuff that kind of catches them off guard because they think something's like good. And they're like, oh yeah, this feels real good. What do you guys think about it? And I'm like, nah, dude, actually this, and this. And they'll literally be like, okay. Yeah, you could tell like that. I didn't expect that, you know, I'll bring it to the team and we'll kind of look at what we could do, you know? And that's why I love working with them because they've always been like this. Like even with State of Decay 2, you know, they've always been very receptive of criticism, constructive criticism. There's a difference between, you know, being an asshole and being constructive. But yeah, they've always been very, very receptive of feedback. And that's Patrick right there for you, just so you guys know. I'm doxing Patrick right now. My boy. Right there, that's Patrick. That's my boy right there. He's a good dude. That's Brant, as you guys know. But he takes his job very seriously. He's the executive producer for State of Decay 3. So he's got a really, really, really big job. But Patrick takes his job very serious. They could not have a better person in that position. Like he's very player mind oriented too. So he's not stuck in like developer headspace. He's very player mind oriented. He looks at things from a player's perspective and like, is it fun? Like that's his main thing. Like, does this feel fun? Like, and yeah, Patrick is a really, really good dude. He's been amazing to work with. I've said this before, like if State of Decay 3, right, comes out and it's at least as good as State of Decay 2, it's already going to be a great game because State of Decay 2 is a great game. Some people might not agree with that, but some people might say State of Decay 2 is a horrible game, whatever, bro. But I enjoy it. I think it's a phenomenal game. It's probably one of my most played games. But State of Decay 2 is a great game already in itself. So if State of Decay 3 came out and was at least as good as State of Decay 2, that's a very easy bar to hit. Okay, State of Decay 3 is already a great game. You know what I mean? All it has to do is be as good as 2, which I don't feel like is very hard, and it's already a good game. So then anything above that is an improvement. You see what I'm saying? So it's not very hard for this game to come out and be great. It's really not. So somebody tried to call me out They said NDA for games is amusing. To think YouTubers have been playing this for a year and could not tell anyone like it's a national security. Now it could be good to have YouTubers give input on it. But on the other hand, they could pay people to play test it rather than getting YouTubers and people to do it for free. They said basically, if you do not get in the alpha, many more in the year will be asked, which means it is going to be 1, maybe 2 at least until it released. No doubt it'll be very similar to State of Decay 2 with slightly better graphics, but nothing new or interesting. So again, we got a hero here who he just knows everything. He's played, I guess he's played so much. It's going to be similar to State of Decay 2 with slightly better graphics, but nothing new or interesting. Don't listen to this guy. Don't listen to this guy. And there's a lot of these guys. There's so many people. I'm like, bro, why? Like, I just call them, they're Karens, bro. These guys gotta be Karens, man. Like, I think their name might be Karen. Like, he's a dude and he's fucking Karen. But my response to him was, I didn't get into, because some people were trying to be like, oh, player council, like, why are they only letting YouTubers do it? And the thing is I didn't get invited into the player council because I was a YouTuber. Like, Undead Labs isn't doing this for publicity. You know what I mean? They don't need it. As you can see, like, they just breathe the word State of Decay 3 and it gets clicks just because it's people want it. I was invited to the player council for my expertise in the game. That's it. If you have close to 10,000 hours in the game, which there's not too many people out there who have as much playtime in the game as I do, like, yeah, you probably would have been you probably would have been on the top of the list too. Most of the guys that got invited, a lot of the guys that got invited are pretty experienced in State of Decay, but they also, it's not like they only got a bunch of Lethal Zone guys either. They got people that play the game on all different levels, so they could get feedback from all different levels. Can I talk about the tone of the game? Does it feel like they're leaning towards a more serious experience? Yeah, for sure. I definitely feel like the game is, it feels a lot different. The tone, for sure. Philip was getting on it a lot about, you know, in his interview he did, he was talking about like they were trying to aim more towards a serious environment, trying to get away from kind of the cringy, jokey, like weird stuff that kind of existed in the first two games, and they wanted this one to be set a bit more in reality, be a bit more serious toned. And yeah, you can definitely feel that 100%. It is definitely a lot more serious of a tone. It's not like a hopeless type of thing, but it definitely feels a bit different. So yeah. When State of Decay 3 first comes out, I'll probably, like, my first playthrough you guys see, we'll probably just jump into the hardest difficulty and I'll just get my ass beat. But the thing is I would be lying to you guys if I didn't say I already played the game. So I like, Sonny kind of said it in his interview, like, that shit's hard, bro. That shit's hard, dude. And I'd be lying. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'd be lying if I didn't say I lowered. I might have had to take a step back in some instances, because I might have been getting my butt handed to me a little bit. But that shit, I would like to jump in and do a max difficulty playthrough immediately, but I might have to kind of play the game and learn the systems and kind of work up to it. You know what I mean? Difficulties confirmed. Yeah, I mean, Philip said it himself in the interview that they plan on having the sliders in State of Decay 3, just like you had in State of Decay 2, where you'll be able to adjust your gameplay experience. Yeah, once they added those sliders, it really gave people a chance to play the game a lot differently. things people struggle with. Sometimes people might not be that great at combat, but they really want to experience a hardcore like looting survival type of, so they'll have everything on lethal zone except combat difficulty. Maybe they'll play on like dread or something like that because they don't like plague ferals. But yeah, I do feel like the way that they went ahead with that was very, very, very good. Like, and I'm happy to see that they plan on doing that. No, I can't just play the game whenever. No, I got playtests just like you guys, like just like the playtest that they're talking about here. It's the same thing for me. Like they schedule playtests, and then it's generally based around their milestones or whatever they have, you know, they're working on. And like I said, they'll be like, hey, you know, we just did this, and this. Here you guys go, like tested us out. So like, you know, the playtests that everybody's going to be doing, like that's kind of how it works. It's not like I just got State of Decay 3 on my machine, I just throw it on whenever I want. No, that's not how that works. It is very like I said, a lot of this is very confidential. It's very monitored. Yeah, it's very monitored. Steel Horse, they already said that. Yeah, there's no zombie deers, bro. Yeah, that was something that they were playing around with the idea of back in 2020. And then once they actually got into development, that the zombie animals got scrapped. TJ said, what were the times you were able to play test? Was it an all day thing? It all depended. Yeah, it all depended on the test. They're all different lengths. Some of them shorter, like especially early on, it was only like a couple hours. And then, you know, as time went on, they definitely expanded a lot more. Where we were able to sink a significant amount of time into the game, really test all the systems and things like that. But yeah, it kind of all just depended. There was times again, yeah, where they were very, very short, and then there was times where they were pretty long. But again, some of these comments, a lot of people are just like not looking good because they're basing it off of the pre-alpha gameplay footage they've seen. A lot of people are excited though. I do appreciate, you know, the excitement. And again, there's just nothing you could do about the negativity. It is what it is. But I do see a lot of you guys are excited, and I'm excited for you guys. But yeah, don't let the people who seem to know everything about the game that they've never seen real gameplay or played, don't let them, you know, drag down the mood. I'm excited for you guys jumping into the alpha playtest. And as soon as more information is made public, guys, we'll definitely be talking about it. I'll be showing you guys everything I could possibly show you guys. I'll be going in as depth as I possibly can with, you know, things as soon as we can. You see that on there, chat? Store, unequip, mod weapon, drop, focus supply locker. Yeah. But yeah, remember, if you guys do get picked for the alpha, hope you guys are ready to work. So many, I had a couple comments of people sitting there being like, oh, State of Decay 3 so woke. Bro, are we still doing this? Woke slop. I can tell you right now, chat, I played a lot of the game, and last time I checked, it's kind of hard to make zombies eating your face and ripping you apart, and I don't know how that can be woke, or yeah, but that's just what. Yeah, go. I'm not joking, guys. Go check the comment section. You'll see it. Yep, it's like the only fucking word they know, dude. Do I think they'll take any ideas from Zomboid? So State of Decay as a franchise, I don't think would really benefit from anything from Zomboid. They both already share permadeath, but Zomboid is just a very like survival focused game, where State of Decay is more of like it's got a community focus. But I don't think State of Decay would really benefit from anything from Project Zomboid other than like the one bite mechanic. But I think that would make State of Decay miserable. If you say you have 400 hours in State of Decay 1, I have like 8,000, 9,000 hours in State of Decay 2. But as for State of Decay 3, I don't know, probably like done a lot of testing, man. Probably 50 plus ish. How does it feel this far in your career to go from a normal stream? I mean, I still very much am still a normal streamer. But being able to dip my toes into some game testing, I mean, that's something I've actually done quite a bit of. obviously I've been under NDA. Like there's so many games I've tested, guys, like behind the scenes. A lot of the times I don't do it. State of Decay is the exception, but I've gotten offered to play a lot of games. Enclave, thank you so much for the 10, bro. My wife and I are really enjoying your streams. I wanted to ask about fighting humans in State of Decay 3. It feels kind of unfair at times in SOD 2. Wanted to know if it was improved. Have a blessed day. So I can't speak on exact systems, Dig, but I share the same sentiment. I do feel like the way that hostile humans were done in State of Decay 2 was not great. I think the system was very half done. And I've even spoken with the devs about it. Like a lot of people don't like how hostile humans were in State of Decay 2. Like didn't enjoy it at all. Now that's mainly because State of Decay 1 didn't have hostile humans. Like hostiles didn't exist. It wasn't a feature. It wasn't anything. And then in 2, they're like, well, how do we kind of implement hostile humans because it's a whole new thing? And then they kind of implemented it in the game, and it was kind of like half-baked, felt really, really weird because most of the time the hostiles just sat in a building or a shed, and then you just didn't go over there. You know what I mean? It was and then the times it did feel good was during like the end game stuff, like the legacies and shit, where you kind of forced to go clear out this building with the hostile, and then it kind of felt all right. But then, you know, with the hostiles being like aimbots and super tanky and higher difficulties, it was a very, very mixed bag on how it was done. So I'm an advocate for that system to either go away completely or to be done very, very well in State of Decay 3. It's like, and I'm pretty sure the devs know, because that's been something that a lot of people have complained about, was the hostile humans in the State of Decay universe, because it's always felt it was a very half-baked system. Hostile Enclaves was just a half-baked system in the game. So I personally would love to see them really build on that system. Trust me when I say I'm an advocate for that system to be done very, very well. But as for what they plan to do with it, I can't speak on that. But just know that I am an advocate. I am an advocate for a good hostile humans system in the game. If you think you'd have equal amount of hours in State of Decay 3, is that... Oh, so, like, yeah, I mean, I plan on playing... I plan on State of Decay 3 being a huge... Obviously, you guys know over the years, I've kind of... Because I was initially just a State of Decay content creator. Like, that's all I did. Obviously, that well kind of started to dry up once I started getting into those higher hours. Kind of beat that horse pretty much to death. And I had to kind of venture out into other things because I didn't want to bottleneck myself as just a State of Decay content creator, you know what I mean? But I do plan on State of Decay 3 being a very big part of what I do. Let you drive around a State of Decay 3? Yeah, I mean, I still think you should do your own playthrough of State of Decay 3. The wifey's done stuff on State of Decay 2 in the past. That was a good grenade, good grenade.
Serious here.
Wow. Wow, that grenade was too good. But yeah, I plan on putting a lot of time into it. And I plan on doing my guides, you know, lethal zone guides and things like, you know, higher level stuff, new player stuff, all that. The same type of content I did for State of Decay 2 you can expect to see from State of Decay 3. But at the same time, I will still honor my other games. Oh yeah, I'll still be playing other games too. Demunk, I can't talk about any systems, bro. You want me to... See, that's how I know I got real ops out here, chat. Demunk is a real op. He wants me to go to jail, get a whole ass multi-million-dollar lawsuit, lose my life, end up living in a box. I see you, bro.